Jake, must be great to have Dwayne back.
Yeah, Ashak, I mean, obviously, obviously everything's going well with his knee now and he's back, and I'm hoping that, that he can make an impact. He's obviously trying to work his way into this Lion series. So, I mean, I'm obviously not expecting him to be at his best physically. I mean, he's obviously just come back, but it's nice to have him around, have him, you know, obviously leading the team again, and more importantly, sharing his knowledge and getting the whole team nice and gelled for this weekend. He's obviously played a lot in Cape Town. He knows the Stormers players well, and to have him back for this weekend is obviously a massive boost.
Hi, Jake. Adnan here. Just on the loose forwards, we saw last week the Stormers had a few youngsters, Kanama Kaba. Just the way that he performed, and how do you think that battle will go, and how crucial will it be
Yeah,
on
Adnan,
Saturday?
I must say he was fantastic. I mean, I was really impressed with him. I think he was tough over the ball. I'm not sure he's available. I read somewhere that he's injured himself, which will probably be, not a great thing. I was, again, looking at their team when we played them last time. There's no Augustus. There's no, there's no Kutsia. There's no Murat. There's no JD Schickeling. I think I hear he's injured. There's no 9. There's no 10. There's no 13. There's no winger that played against us. So, yeah, I suppose it's an interesting battle for us, because we're going into this game playing, even though we're playing the Stormers or Western Province, we're not really sure of the new guys they'll bring in. So for the first time in a long time, we'll be going into a game against them that we probably don't know all their players as well as we used to.
Thanks.
Jake, take a TV in your can is not yet ready.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I suppose if it was a one-off game and we could probably push him through. But I mean, there's obviously, as you would know, there's a bigger picture. Springboks playing the end of the year. I mean, the middle of the year. I don't really want to force him, when there's a risk. I mean, obviously he's hell of important to the Springboks, and I thought Mornay Smith played really well last week, and Jacques did relatively well off the bench as well. So it's not too serious that we can go with the same front row.
Check Percival Young hier. Normaalweg dan 'n speler wat van 'n lang besering afkom, maak hulle afrotters bring hulle gewoonlik sulke spelers baie stelselmatig in. Verdwyn is sommer nou in die beginspan nou. Is hy een van daai spelers soos Skalk Burger destyds wat jy sommer ingooi en hy sal reg wees vir enige die tipe rugby nou?
Ja, Percival, ek dink is nie net wat hy op die veld doen nie, is wat hy voor die game ook doen. Jy weet, hy's 'n ongelooflike leier. Hy's belangrik vir ons as 'n groep. Jy weet die kalmte wat hy nou vir ons bring, en soos jy reg sê, jy weet jy kan hom van die bank gebruik, maar ek dink, ek weet wat ek met Nizam gaan kry in die tweede helfte, so dit kan wees hy kan die eerste 40-50 minute speel, en dan kan Nizam die game klaar maak. So ja, ek is jy weet daar's nie 'n regte en verkeerde manier nie. Ek dink net sy teenwoordigheid in die game self, en soos ek sê, voor die game en die spanpraatjie en kalmte te gee voor 'n groot game soos hierdie, is maar meer belangrik dat hy deel is van die begin 15-tal.
Jake, net om aan te sluit by Percy se vraag, ouetjie soos Pieter Steef Totoy, ons het laasweek gesien.
Ja, hy was nie op die bank nie, en hy het 80 minute gespeel, so dit wys jou, baie coaches doen dieselfde ding.
Ja, en die waarde wat hy kan toevoeg aan 'n wedstryd, dit gaan interessant wees, soos ek voorheen gesê het.
Ja, maar dis wat ek sê, Anan, ek dink, jy weet, daar is maniere, ek dink, baie mense het gedink het, Dwayne kan van die bank af gespeel het, ek dink, baie mense het gedink, verlede week, Pieter Steef kon miskien van die bank af gespeel het, of miskien die eerste helfte of 50 minute, hy 80 gespeel, jy weet, so dit wys jou net, jy weet, ek dink, van my kant af, ek weet wat hy vir ons span beteken, ek weet wat hy vir die spelers wat ons saam mee speel beteken, ek weet wat hy beteken as hy teen iemand speel ook, jy weet, ek dink die sielkundige bates wat hy gee teen die ander oppositie ook is baie belangrik. So ja, ek sal nie sê hy gaan 50 speel nie. Miskien as hy goed speel en hy wil speel, dan kan hy 80 speel, maar op hierdie stadium ek is tevrede dat Nizam vir my ook 'n baie goeie hoe kan ek sê, baie goeie deel van hierdie game kan ook belangrik wees vir ons.
Thanks.
Jake, you mentioned Nama Kaba. Were you concerned about how the Bulls went at the breakdown last weekend against the Lions? The Lions did seem to dominate. And do you know who the referee is going to be for Saturday?
Yeah, I do. The head referee is going to be Stuart Berry. And yeah, when I say concerned, I mean, to be fair, Marco Jansen van Staden was a little bit quiet. But then, I mean, I see that he made about 22 tackles. So, I suppose when he's making tackles, he can't really be over the ball as well. So it was one of those games, Ken. I don't think that we were... I don't think we were poor at the breakdown. I thought, as I said to you after the game, I thought Lions did really well in slowing the ball up. I thought they did really well in breaking the continuity of what we try to do on attack. And yes, I've got no doubt that the way that the Stormers played last weekend, they were 23-7 up. So I don't think that it was necessarily a true reflection of what could have happened in that game. Had Kate Voliter kicked those 2 penalties that he missed at that time when they were 23-7 up, who knows, maybe that game goes away from the Sharks. So, I mean, it's all about the small margins. And, I've heard that, obviously the breakdown is an important part for us, and it is for the Stormers. So it'll be interesting to see this weekend how we get a guy like Dwayne on the field and you get a guy like Marku playing together. And obviously Elrich, who was man of the match last week, it's going to be quite a nice tussle to see how our loose forwards combine and how they can make heavy work of the Stormers' attack.
So talking about the Stormers' attack, we now seen that Galaxy Bellis and Natla, unfortunately, he won't be able to play this weekend because of what happened last weekend. The Stormers' back three did pose quite a threat, and without him, obviously a big loss, but they do have backup in a guy like Sergio Peterson. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think everyone knows. I mean, the one thing that the Stormers have probably done for years, Gio Aplon and, the names Cheslin Colby, and, you look at all the sort of guys they've picked at fullback, Percy Montgomery, Peter Rousseau. I mean, that whole back three has been one of the strengths of Province Rugby. And so, I've got no doubt that if Sergio comes in, he'll be dangerous as well. I mean, Damien's played really well at fullback, so yeah, it'll definitely be a threat. But as I said to you, I think that we're obviously looking forward to playing them with the back row, especially with what we're putting on the field, and with a guy like Nazam, who, is a wonderful athlete when he comes off the bench as well. Not sure what the weather prediction is. I know that the weather hasn't been great in Cape Town, but it'll be interesting to see whether or not the weather is going to be, cold and wet, or whether it'll be a sunny day. But I think at the same time, I think that it'll be a good tussle to see how. I mean, let's not forget we've also got Stravina Jacobs, who comes from Paul Jim. Probably played in that weather lots and lots of times. Played in Cape Town a long time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we that sort of thing unfolds with what you're saying is right, with dangerous back three as they have.
Thanks.
I think your backline's also scored some wonderful tries, and you've brought back David Creel, your regular fullback there. Mornestein's back at Flowers, so looking for a bit of rhythm on attack as well.
Yeah, Ashfaq, I mean, obviously, I think, a guy like Morne is obviously been drawn into those alignment camps with the Springboks. Therefore, he's obviously seen as an important cog for both Jacques and Rassie. He needs to play some rugby. I think, again, he's got some massive amounts of experience. Him and Ambrose together. Be nice to see how that combination goes. But again, I suppose we just, it's not just about how he plays. I think it's about how the forward battle goes. Everyone knows if your forwards are doing the work and they're getting quality ball, then your 10 can play as well. So it'll be, obviously a massive test for us, because we respect that Stormers pack. I mean, we got, not many teams can afford to leave Bongi on the bench, which they did last weekend. And again, just shows you how good that front row is.
Jake, kan ek 'n vraag, en jy het my soort van vrypas gegee om hierdie vraag te vra. Net so as 'n opvolg op wat Adnan gevra het in my vorige vraag, en ek vra vir jou net vir 'n oomblik om jou provinsiale hoed voorlopig af te haal. Ja. Is dit verblydend om te weet dat spelers soos Dwayne Vermeulen, Pieter Steef de Tooy, Andre Pollard, daai tipe manne weer nou beskikbaar en fiks op die veld is, en jy is afrigter van die bulle. Dink jy jou spelers gaan nog steeds as 'n eenheid speel, of speel hulle nou met die oog op wat byvoorbeeld soos vandag aangekondig word daar in die UK?
Wel kom ek stel dit so, Percival, daar's twee vrae daar. I mean, ek is eintlik baie tevrede en ek is baie bly dat die Springbokke weer gaan speel. Ek dink dit is belangrik vir ons as 'n land. Jy weet onthou ons is mos die wêreldbeker kampioene nou. Ek dink om teen die Britse Lions te speel is 'n ongelooflike ervaring. Jy weet elke 12de jaar is daai toer, so ek dink almal besef dit is eintlik 'n helse voorreg om teen hulle te speel. Ek twyfel dat enige speler gaan terughou om homself te beskerm op provinsiale vlak om seker te maak, jy weet hy's gereed vir die Lions toetse. Ek dink dit gaan ongelooflik wees om te sien dat daai manne nou terug is en ek dink jy weet soos ek net nou vir jou gesê het, I mean Dwayne is nou terug en sy doelwit is om goed te doen vir die Bokke teen die Lions en as ons as 'n provinsie kan hom help om uit te kom en goed te speel vir die Springbokke is ons doel, jy weet, bereik. So ja, ek is 100% seker dat ek dink die coaches soos Jacques en Rassie moet nou baie tevrede wees as jy nou in die koerante lees. Paul het dit nou gespeel, jy weet, Dwayne is nou terug, Pieter Steff het 80 minute verlede week gespeel. Ja, ek hoor RG Snyman het bietjie sy knie seer gemaak, maar ek het weer gehoor dit gaan nie langtermyn wees nie. Dit gaan so 4-5 weke wees. Dit beteken in 12 weke van nou af as ons teen die Lions speel, dan gaan hy ook reg wees. So ja, ek is heeltemal seker dat die nasionale span gaan baie tevrede wees om my man op die veld te sien.
Baie dankie, Jake.
Anything else, guys?
Jake, just on the lineup battle, the Stormers have two very good lineup locks, jumping locks in Schikkeling and Ori, and also at the back too. And you've now brought Waldsteenkamp back.
Yes.
Is that with a...
Yeah, Ashfaq, I don't know if you can give me their team, but I heard that JD, unless someone's been fibbing, JD Schickling's hurt his ankle, he'll be out for 2 weeks. So I don't think he can stand in the line out if he's standing in the pavilion, you know. So at this point in time, I probably expect that Marvin Ori will play with Meerhuizen and, you know, and then I suppose, again, it'll be an interesting battle. I repeat myself when I say, you know, it's obviously going to be an interesting game because we usually line up against Schickeling and Murat and Kutsia and Augustus and Sia Kulisi, and, you know, and all of a sudden it's a completely different pack of forwards. And then if you take out Giantchis and Tim Sweel and Ruan Nel and Sanatla, you know, obviously a very different backline as well. But saying that, Ashfaq, I think it's important to understand that one of the things we saw this weekend against the Lions, without Berger Oudendal, without Jaco Versaghi, without Elton Giantchis, without all their big names, I mean, they literally were one kick away from going 10, you know, 12-10 up against us. So we're very mindful of the fact that it's a different challenge. But again, you know, it's a North-South derby. It's in Cape Town. And, you know, obviously both teams want to play well and get some points.
Jake, just on the unknown factor, a guy like Abner van Reeren, he's played, I think, just 2 games or 1.5 games. Just what you've seen of him, your impressions, and what do you think he will bring?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be difficult because I haven't really seen much of him. You know, I've lived overseas, and I think, you know, he's quite a youngster. So I haven't even seen him play at junior level. You know, and I mean, all you see is the small time that he's been on the field. So again, you know, I'm sure everyone's in the same boat as me. You know, we know he's talented. You don't play number 10 for province unless you can play rugby, and, you know, he's come through the system. So I'm sure he's going to have something. But again, I suppose he highlights exactly my point, is we don't really know enough about him, and, you know, and because of that, it's going to be an exciting fixture to see. I mean, again, I don't know if he's going to be starting, but if he is, it's, you know, we're not sure what to expect, and at the same time, that makes it exciting for both teams.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Jake,
Ken,
sorry,
yes.
just an exciting signing name today with Harold Forster.
Yes.
Could you just tell us what you like about him as a player?
Well, I think the most important thing, Ken, is that his age. You know, he's experienced. He's 27 years old. He's been around the block. I think if you look at the makeup of our side, you've got some really young, talented players. I think probably too many. Probably in our books, probably too many youngsters. And that age group, you know, the Jacques Duplessis that are 27, the Marcel Coutsiers that are now coming back, the Goossens, the Harold Forsters, is generally that middle tier age group that we need in our provincial sides. You know, he's talented. He plays 12 and 13, which again gives us cover for Cornell and Stedman. You know, obviously we've been spoilt having Cornell and Stedman there, but I think we need to find some backup in case we need to obviously change some of the dynamics in our team. And I'm not quite sure how long I would keep Cornwall and Stedman. Maybe they get picked for the Springboks, and then I've got to have some backup, for tournaments then when I'm missing those guys, So, yeah, and I think other than that, I know for a fact, having coached in Japan, he's at Wild Knights. The club he's at, Ken, is an incredible club. They always playing in playoffs. They're always there and thereabouts. Them, Kobe, Suntory, and obviously Toyota have been the dominant teams in the last couple of years. So to have him with that experience of playing in knockout rugby and in playoff rugby and in playing with, not only in this team he's played, but obviously by Robbie Deans, he's coached him. I have full confidence that he comes, even though he comes from, some would say from Japan. I'm almost sure that the club he's coming from and the stuff he's learned has probably made him develop as a player. I know how good he was at the Lions, and I'm sure having that Japanese influence of the way they train and the way they play is going to add more, more strings to his bow in terms of the way that he was before, as a player before he left here.
Okay, thank you, Jane.
Okay, thanks, guys.